Tonight we journey far back to the banks of the great river in Egypt, where the sun rises over ancient Thebes. Let your mind rest as we step softly into the quiet halls of a grand temple, where priests lived lives devoted to the gods. We will walk with you through their peaceful days and sleepless nights. You will hear the gentle sounds of stone corridors, the whisper of incense, and the quiet chant of hymns. Settle into a comfortable position, breathe slowly and deeply. We explore the daily rhythms of service, offerings, and devotion to the divine, a world designed to soothe and center the soul. Close your eyes. Let us begin. The first light of dawn touches the eastern horizon. The sky shifts from deep blue to shades of rose and pale gold. You feel the cool air against your skin as you wake, lying on your simple mat in the priest's quarters. The sounds of the waking city drift through the open window. Birds chirp, footsteps creak on wooden floors. Somewhere a distant goat bleats, but the temple courtyard holds a deep stillness you seek. You rise quietly. The ritual of waking is important. You touch your forehead to the cool stone floor, offering a silent prayer of thanks for the new day granted by Ra. The motions are familiar, calming. Hands rub sleep from your eyes. Your feet find their path without thought. You make your way towards the purification pools. The water here is always clean, cool, and clear. It reflects the pale morning sky. You kneel beside the low stone edge. You remove your linen nightrobe. The air is gentle on your skin. You scoop the blessed water in your hands. It runs cool and pure over your head, down your shoulders, washing away the remnants of sleep. Your body shivers slightly at the first touch of water, but it is pleasant. You perform the ablution exactly as taught. You wash your hands twice, your face twice, your arms to the elbow, your feet and ankles. The ritual cleanses you body and spirit. It prepares you to enter the presence of the divine. After the washing, you dry yourself with a soft, clean linen cloth. You dress slowly, deliberately. You choose the purest white linen robe, the finest you possess. You pull it over your head. It falls in simple, comfortable folds around your body. The texture is cool and slightly rough against your skin. It is a reminder of your status, of your purpose. It is also a garment of humility. The temple complex begins to stir around you. Other priests walk quietly on the flagged stone paths. You nod to them. A silent greeting passes between you. There is no need for words in the early hours. Your shared devotion binds you in this silent understanding. Your feet take you along a familiar route. You pass through a small gate leading into the inner courtyards. The air is cooler here, shaded by the high walls of the temple buildings. The scent of night-blooming flowers fades, replaced by the faint, reassuring smell of ancient stone, dust, and myrrh from the priest's quarters. You approach the sanctuary. The great doors stand slightly ajar. The sacred space within is still dim. Candles may burn. Oil lamps provide a low, warm light. The atmosphere is one of quiet mystery. This is where the God resides. This is the heart of your work. You pause at the threshold. You bow your head. You feel the familiar weight of your role settling upon you. Today, like every day, your duty is to tend to this sacred space, to prepare the God's house, to offer prayers, food, and praise. The weight is not heavy. It is a gentle presence, a guiding responsibility. It is comforting. With each step deeper into the inner sanctum, your breathing slows. The sounds of the city fade away. The temple swallows them. Now, you hear only the soft shuffle of your sandals on the stone, the faint steady drip of water from a vessel, your own heartbeat calm and strong. The day's tasks are clear in your mind. They are written on your heart. The rhythm is ancient, unchanged for generations. First, you will cleanse the God's chamber. Then you will prepare the morning offerings. Then the first rites will begin as the sun climbs higher, a gentle rhythm of prayer and service, flowing like the river Nile itself, steady, constant, peaceful. You stand within the inner sanctuary. The air is thick with a calm, sacred silence. The darkness holds a sense of deep rest, as if the God within the golden shrine slumbers still. The space is small, intimate. Its walls are close. They are covered in faded paintings of offering scenes and lines of hieroglyphic text, the words of gods and pharaohs whispered for centuries. Your first task is the ritual cleansing. It is a daily act of immense respect and practical care. You gather the tools of your trade, clean, soft cloths, vessels filled with fresh, cool water from the purification pools, perhaps a small oil lamp. Everything is arranged nearby on a low table. Your movements are deliberate, careful. You begin with the floor. You kneel, unrolling a clean cloth. It is a simple task, but it holds meaning. The dust of the world, the footprints of yesterday must be swept away. You rub the cloth over the cool stone tiles. The cloth collects the fine grains of dirt. You fold the dirty part inward, exposing a clean section. The process is slow, methodical. It is a meditation. Your mind focuses solely on the task, on the feel of the cloth, on the gentle scrape of dust, on the act of making clean. Next, you tend to the sanctuary walls. You take another cloth, damp with water. You wipe down the painted plaster. The images of Ra-Horakhti and Ptah emerge clearer as you clean. You trace the outline of a painted offering table, the hieroglyphs that spell a hymn. The smell of damp plaster and old paint mingles with the myrrh scent. The act of care is like a prayer. It shows devotion. Now you approach the shrine itself. It is a golden chest, ornately decorated. It stands on a raised platform. The god is within, but you do not see its face. The shrine door is sealed with clay. Only the high priest may open it on holy days. Your duty is to tend the outer chamber, the area surrounding the shrine. This sacred space must be perfect. You light the oil lamps one by one. The small flames flicker to life, casting warm, dancing light on the painted walls. Shadows play softly. The darkness recedes. The sanctuary begins to wake. You offer a quiet word of greeting to the presence within. It is a habit, a whisper in your heart. You then prepare the morning offerings. The items are already prepared by other priests. You simply arrange them with care. You take fresh loaves of bread. They are plain, but made with the finest grain. Their crust is golden, their crumb white. You place them on a simple wooden tray. Next comes the beer, poured into a small round pot of polished clay. It is thick, nourishing, slightly sweet. It smells of barley and dates. You gather flowers from the temple gardens. You have chosen lotus blooms. Their white petals are still closed, tight buds, waiting for the sun. They rest in a vase of clear water. You also have a small dish of honey, golden and thick. Another contains dates, their wrinkled skin dark and sweet, and a jar of clean, pure water. All are common foods, but in this context they are sacred. They are gifts from the earth, from the people. They symbolize sustenance, renewal, the very building blocks of life. You arrange them in a specific pattern on the offering table, as prescribed by ancient ritual. You stand back. You look at your work. The sanctuary gleams softly in the lamplight. The floor is clean. The walls show their colors clearly. The offerings await. Everything is ready for the first rites of the day. You feel a deep satisfaction, a sense of completion. Your hands have prepared a space for the divine. It is a simple job, but it is a holy job. It is a job done with love and a quiet heart. Now you will wait for the sun to rise a little higher. The rites will begin. You wait in the semi-darkness of the sanctuary, the scent of the fresh offerings filling the small space. The lotus buds in the vase wait, still closed, for the kiss of the rising sun. The golden shrine gleams in the low, steady light of the oil lamps. The atmosphere is one of perfect preparedness. You have done your part. Now the ritual begins. The first sounds of the outside world reach you. The faint call of a priest somewhere else in the complex, calling a worker to a task, a bird's wings fluttering near an open window, the quiet scrape of a sandal on stone. But here within the sanctuary, your focus is internal. Your mind turns to the words of the hymns. They are long and familiar. You recite them silently, feeling the rhythm settle in your chest. The pace is slow, reverent. Each word is a note in a song of praise. You move to the brazier. It is a simple bronze bowl sitting on a low tripod. The charcoal within is ready. It glows a dull red. You take your priestly tools. You have a small bundle of dry incense resins. Frankincense, its scent woody and peaceful. Myrrh, richer and deeper. You pick a small piece. You crumble it gently between your fingers. The smell of the resin is strong, filling your nose, your lungs. It is a scent of another land, a scent of trade routes and distant deserts. You place the crumbled resin onto the glowing charcoal. Instantly, the air changes. A thin wisp of white smoke curls upwards. It rises in a slow, spiraling column. The scent intensifies, filling the sanctuary. It blends with the smell of the offerings, bread, beer, flowers. The combined fragrance is sweet, earthly, and profoundly sacred. It is a bridge between the world of the senses and the world of the gods. You lift your hands. The gesture is ancient, scriptural. It has been performed by countless priests before you. You begin the prayer of offering. You speak in a low, clear voice. The words are written in hieroglyphs on the wall before you, but you know them by heart. Peace be to you, Ptah, father of the gods. Accept this offering of frankincense. Let its sweet smoke carry our prayers to your dwelling. The words flow like a stream. Your voice is calm, measured. There is no strain. It is a hymn, not a plea. It is an act of service, of recognition. Your words are a gift to the god, a song written in your own breath. You add a pinch of myrrh to the coals. The smoke deepens. It becomes thicker. It swirls in complex patterns, reflecting the lamplight, making the ancient hieroglyphs on the walls seem to shift and breathe. The smoke builds a veil. It carries a sense of mystery, a sign that the offering has been received. You feel a profound stillness. The ritual is working. The separation between the mundane and the divine has been pierced by the column of sacred smoke. You continue your prayer. You recite the names of the god. You list his titles, his aspects. You speak of his creative power, of his protection. You tell him of the clean state of his sanctuary, of the fresh bread and beer awaiting his favor. You do not ask for things. You simply acknowledge. You simply praise. This is the purpose of the priest, to be the voice of the people, offering gratitude and reverence. The sound of your voice is the only sound in the sanctuary now. It echoes gently off the stone walls. It joins with the faint crackle of the coals and the soft whisper of rising smoke. The rhythm is soothing, repetitive, a gentle tide of sound and scent. The first incense offering is complete. You stand for a moment in the peaceful aftermath. The smell of frankincense and myrrh hangs heavy in the air. The smoke has mostly cleared, leaving only a faint trace. Your heart feels lighter. Your duty for this hour is done. The god has been greeted. The prayers have been offered. Now the morning rites will begin. The temple day has officially started. You bow your head one more time to the shrine. It is a gesture of respect, of gratitude. Then you turn. You leave the sanctuary, carrying its quiet peace with you. The next task awaits. You step back into the inner courtyard, still carrying the peaceful atmosphere of the sanctuary. The air outside is cooler, the sky a little lighter. The sounds of the waking temple are clearer. Priests move between the workshops, carrying tools or baskets. A craftsman hammers gently on metal, the sound muted and rhythmic. You move with purpose towards the offering chamber, a specific room dedicated to the daily sustenance of Ptah. The room is larger than the sanctuary. Its walls are decorated with paintings showing the god's myths. Ptah stands with his staff, bringing life to the world. Grain rises in golden waves. Cattle graze peacefully. It's a visual hymn of creation and provision. The floor is tiled with simple, clean stones. In the center of the room, a low square table of black granite waits. This is the offering table of Ptah. It is worn smooth by countless hands and countless offerings. On the offering table, you will place the daily sustenance. The specifics are prescribed. The priests who prepare the food have done their work. You are here to arrange and present it. It is a ritual of immense gravity. To feed the god is to ensure the continued order of the world. If the god is not fed, chaos might creep back in. Your actions are practical, but they are also deeply symbolic. You take up the tray you prepared earlier. It holds the essential offerings, fresh bread, round loaves with a coarse, earthy crust. You place them on the north side of the table. The north is the direction of life, of the Nile's flow. Next, you take the pot of beer. It is thick and creamy. You set it on the east side, east, where Ra is born, where the day begins. You add the small dish of golden honey, sweetness. The bees, working tirelessly, are seen as small gifts from the divine. You place it on the south side. Now, the flowers. You lift the vase of lotus buds. You carefully pull out one stem. The bud is closed, white as ivory. You place it standing upright in the granite offering table's small central hole. It is a symbol of rebirth, of the sun's daily rebirth. The sun rises, the lotus opens, the world renews itself. It is a powerful image. You do this quietly. Your hands are steady. Every movement is intentional. Every item is placed with a silent intention. You are not just laying out food, you are participating in an eternal cycle. The final offering is water, not beer this time, but pure, clean water. You have a new small bowl. It is made of polished blue faience. The water inside catches the light, looking like a shard of the sky. Water is life. It feeds the plants. It feeds people. It feeds the gods. You place this bowl on the west side of the table, west, where the sun dies only to be reborn. Once everything is in its place, you step back. You look at the array. It is simple, but it is perfect. Bread, beer, honey, flowers, water. It represents the fundamental gifts of the land, the daily miracle of food and sustenance. Your heart feels a profound sense of connection. You are not an outsider presenting a gift. You are a part of the system. Your daily labor, your preparation, your pure heart are all part of the offering. You have given of yourself. You begin the prayer of offering. You speak to the god Ptah, whose shrine is nearby. You list the items. You describe them. You say their names clearly. Ptah, accept this bread, the gift of the field. Accept this beer, the gift of the harvest. Your voice is calm. The words are like flowing water. You pour them out as an offering. You say a second prayer for the people, that the land may be fertile, that the Nile may flood well, that the people may be strong and peaceful. You are the voice of the community in this sacred place. The ritual of presenting the offerings to Ptah is complete. You feel the deep peace that comes from fulfilling your duty. You are not done, of course. The day's work continues. The offering table will be cleared later, and the food will be given to the temple's workers. But for now, this moment of stillness, this sacred presentation, is finished. You bow your head to the god. Then you turn to leave, to move on to the next task. The rhythm of temple life is a gentle, steady current. You flow within it, always with purpose, always with peace. You leave the offering chamber, your mind still focused on the rhythmic prayers just spoken. The next part of your morning duties takes you to a different part of the temple complex. Your feet follow a path that leads away from the inner sanctity, out towards the workshops. This area is practical, busy, but still held within the sacred perimeter of the temple grounds. The sounds change here, no longer the profound silence of the sanctuary or the quiet murmur of prayers. Now you hear the measured tap-tap-tap of a hammer on wood, the soft scrape of a plane smoothing a plank, the low, steady voice of a craftsman giving instructions to his apprentice. It is a sound of creation, of skilled hands making something new. You pause to watch a group of carpenters. They are working on the seeded, the portable shrine that holds a statue of the god during festivals. It is a beautiful piece of craftsmanship. The wood is a rich, dark cedar. The carvers are shaping intricate hieroglyphs and sacred symbols into its surface. The detail is fine. A vulture spreads its wings. A scepter is held aloft. You watch for a moment, appreciating their skill. The work is slow, deliberate. Every chip of wood is intentional. The head carpenter nods to you in greeting. He is an older man, his hands scarred from years of work. His eyes are kind but tired. You exchange a small, respectful bow. He knows your role. You know his. Both of you serve the god in different ways. He uses his hands to build sacred things. You use your voice to offer prayers. There is a bond of mutual respect. You ask him about the work. He points to the seeded. It will be used for the great festival in a month's time. It must be perfect. The god will travel in it. The people will see it. It must shine. It must be worthy. You nod. The carpenters work under the same rules of purity as the priests. They are in a sacred space, preparing a sacred object. You move on. Your task is to inspect the maintenance of the temple's buildings. This is a duty for the priests, to ensure the physical house of the god is kept in good order. You walk along the high outer wall. You check the stonework. There are no cracks that need attention. You look at the wooden lintels above doors. You test them for rot. They are sound. You enter the granaries. These are vital. Inside, great stores of grain are kept. The air is dry and warm. It smells of clean sacked barley and emmer wheat. A scribe is taking inventory. He sees you and shows you the tall piles of sacks. The record is perfect. There is enough grain for the priests and workers, and for offerings to the god for many weeks. You nod with satisfaction. Order is maintained here. The sustenance is secure. You walk through the workshops of the weavers. The air is filled with the soft whir of a loom and the smell of fresh linen. Two women are at work, their fingers moving with amazing speed and grace. One is weaving a fine white cloth. The threads are as fine as a spider's web. It is for the god's statue. The cloth will be washed, perfumed, and placed on the divine body during the ritual bathing. You watch for a moment, noting their focus. Their work is as sacred as your own prayers. The inspection is a simple task, but it is important. You are ensuring the temple is a place of order, that its buildings are sound, that its stores are full, that its workers are skilled and respected. It connects you to the practical, everyday life of the temple. It reminds you that the prayers and offerings are part of a larger web of labor. All of it serves the god. All of it holds the world in its proper place. You finish your round. Everything is well. The temple is secure. You feel a quiet approval in your heart. You have done your part to keep the divine house clean, maintained, and supplied. The practical work supports the spiritual work. They are two sides of the same coin. You walk back towards the inner courtyards, ready for the next part of your daily routine. The rhythm continues, steady and sure. The sun climbs higher. Its light becomes harsh. The peaceful shadows of the early morning have retreated to the deepest parts of the courtyards. The temple begins a natural rest during the heat of the day. This is the hour of the midday meal, a time of quiet refreshment and reflection. You make your way to the priest's dining hall. It is a simple, long room with a flat roof. Clay pots of water sit in a cool, dark corner. The floor is covered in woven mats. Low tables are set out. The atmosphere is one of calm, shared existence. No boisterous laughter disturbs the air. Here, the values of the temple, silence and contemplation are upheld. You sit on your usual mat, near an open window that looks towards the river. The view is a peaceful stretch of green fields and the distant blue line of the Nile. You can see workers moving slowly in the distance, their tools glinting in the strong sunlight. But the dining hall itself is dim and cool. The meal is simple, as it always is. The food here is not rich, but it is good. It is clean. It is given freely to the servants of the god. Today it consists of a bowl of thick lentil stew. It is flavored with herbs and a small amount of leek. There is fresh bread, still warm from the oven. It is coarse, made with barley and emmer. You break a piece off, tearing it with your fingers. Its texture is satisfying, its taste is earthy and plain. Beside your bowl is a small cup of beer. It is the same thick, nourishing beer you offered to the god that morning, but now you drink it. It is slightly warm but refreshing. It washes down the dry bread. It fills your stomach with a gentle, slow energy. You take your time eating. There is no rush. The heat outside makes fast eating unpleasant. The hall is largely silent. Only the soft sounds of eating break the quiet. The scraping of bowls, the quiet clink of pottery, the gentle lapping of water from a servant's ladle. Priests sit apart, each lost in their own thoughts. The enforced silence is a part of temple discipline. It allows for reflection, for digestion, for the quieting of the mind after the morning's rush of activity. You chew slowly. Your thoughts drift. They are not on any one thing. You think about the morning's task. The smooth feel of the linen cloth as you clean the sanctuary floor, the swirling smoke of the frankincense, the satisfaction of placing the offerings correctly on the granite table. You also think about more abstract things, the nature of duty, the comfort of routine, the feeling of being a small but essential part of a vast and ancient order. A young priest near you finishes his meal early. He places his bowl on the edge of his mat. He folds his hands. He closes his eyes. He begins to pray silently. He is new to this life, but he already understands the value of the quiet hour. You follow his example. You set your own empty bowl aside. You fold your hands. You close your eyes. In the semi-darkness behind your eyelids, you find a deep calm. The noise of the city outside fades. The sounds of the dining hall fade. Your own breath becomes the loudest thing. You feel your chest rise and fall slowly. You offer a silent prayer of gratitude. Gratitude for the food, for the shade, for the peace, for your place in this ritual of shared sustenance. It is a simple prayer, but it fills you with a quiet joy. The midday rest is not just physical. It is spiritual. It is a time to reset, to recenter, to remember why you are here, to offer gratitude, to rest in the presence of the divine, even if that presence is only felt in the cool air and the silence of a shared meal. You sit in this state of peaceful reflection until a bell rings softly. The rest hour is over. You open your eyes. The world seems a little sharper, a little clearer. You feel refreshed, recharged, ready to return to the temple's work. The rhythm of the day continues, but now it continues from a place of renewed calm. You rise from your mat. You collect your bowl. The afternoon tasks await, and you meet them with a spirit that is balanced and at peace. After the quiet of the midday meal, your duties take a gentler turn. The afternoon sun is at its strongest. So much of the work happens indoors, in shaded rooms. You are called to assist in the record-keeping of the temple. This is a crucial, if often unseen, pillar of temple life. It requires patience, a steady hand, and a quiet mind. All traits a good priest possesses. You make your way to the scriptorium. It is a long, narrow room lit by high windows. The walls are lined with shelves packed tightly with papyrus scrolls. Their ends are neatly rolled. Labels are tied to each one. The air smells of dry plant matter, ink, and cedar wood. It is a scent of knowledge preserved. A senior scribe is already at work. He is an older man, his hair thin and grey. His eyes are sharp, but he moves slowly, carefully. On a table before him is a fresh sheet of papyrus. He has prepared his ink. It is a pot of black carbon mixed with gum. Beside it is a small reed pen, its tip sharpened to a perfect point. He looks up as you enter. He nods in greeting. He gestures for you to sit beside him at the table. Today your task is to help record the offerings. This is a regular, daily duty. It ensures a clear account is kept. What has been given to the god can be accounted for. What has been consumed by priests and workers is recorded. It is a matter of transparency and order. You are not just a priest of prayer, but a priest of keeping the house in perfect, documented order. You watch the scribe work. He writes with a steady hand. The hieroglyphs flow across the papyrus in clear, beautiful lines. They are a mixture of pictographs and phonetic signs. It is a language of symbols and sounds. He writes the date. Then the items. Bread, 20 loaves. Beer, 2 jars. Honey, 1 small pot. Each item is written with its corresponding quantity, always in words. He never uses marks or dots to represent numbers. Everything is written clearly and completely. It is slow work, but it is a calm work. The scratching of the reed pen on papyrus is a gentle sound. It is a rhythm in itself. Scratch, pause, move, pause. You find it soothing. You find your own breathing slowing to match the scribe's writing pace. The task is meditative. The scribe then asks you to copy a short section of text. He has brought out an older scroll. It is a record from last year's festival of Opet. He points to a section. He wants you to copy a passage onto a new sheet. It is a test of your skill. You take a fresh reed pen. You dip it carefully into the ink. You begin to write. You copy the hymn of praise to Amun. You shape each hieroglyph carefully. I praise your name, Amun-Ra, who hears prayers. The characters emerge under your pen. At first, they are a little shaky, but as you continue, your hand finds its rhythm. The motion becomes smoother. The characters grow more uniform. You feel a deep satisfaction. You are not just preserving information. You are participating in a chain of knowledge stretching back for generations. What you write will be read by future priests. You are connecting the past and the future with your ink. The work continues. The light from the windows grows softer as the sun begins its descent. The afternoon stretches on, but there is no feeling of pressure. There is no feeling of urgency. Time moves differently here. It moves at the pace of the pen on papyrus, at the pace of steady, careful breath, at the pace of a temple that moves with the measured rhythm of devotion. The record of offerings is complete. Your copied hymn is neat and clear. You roll the new scrolls carefully. You tie them with a simple string. You place them back on the designated shelf. Order is maintained. Knowledge is preserved. You bow your head respectfully to the scrolls. They hold the life of the temple, written in ink and devotion. You have done your part. You rise from the table. Your back is a little stiff from sitting still, but your mind is clear and calm. The papyrus work has been a perfect, peaceful task for the soft afternoon light. As the afternoon light softens, casting longer shadows in the temple courtyards, your path leads you to another space of quiet industry. The air here is filled with a gentle click-clack sound. The rhythm is steady, soothing. It is the sound of the loom. And the air is warm with the smell of fresh linen and a hint of oil from the workers' hands. You enter the weaving room. It is a large open space with high walls to catch the breeze. The light is bright, filtered through cloth screens. Several women are at work, their hands moving with practiced skill. Their looms are wooden frames, taut with warp threads. The weft threads are fed through by hand. The patterns they create are simple but beautiful. Geometric borders, small diamonds, repetitive designs that catch and play with the light. You approach a specific loom in the corner. This one is for sacred textiles. The linen here is finer than any used for clothing. It is as thin as a whisper, but incredibly strong. It has been prepared especially for the gods' garments. A young priestess looks up as you arrive. She is in charge of this work. She nods to you. Her name is Hennet Meyer. She has been weaving sacred cloth for many years. Her fingers know every thread. She greets you with a small silent bow of her head. Then she gestures to the loom. Today she has been working on a new Shenditi, the traditional kilt worn by the god's statue during processions. The cloth is nearly finished. The pattern is a simple check, but the sheer quality of the weave makes it shimmer subtly in the light. You ask if you may watch. She nods. She is happy for the company. The work is solitary, and a quiet, respectful presence is welcome. You stand a little way back from the loom. You do not interfere with her hands. You simply observe. Hennet Meyer resumes her weaving. Her movements are fluid, unhurried. Her right hand lifts a small wooden shuttle, loaded with a spool of weft thread. She passes it through the warp threads. Her left hand presses a wooden comb against the cloth, packing the new thread tightly. Click-clack. The sound is the heartbeat of the room. It is the most prominent sound besides the quiet murmur of the other weavers. You watch the pattern grow. Row by row, the cloth lengthens. The check design becomes clearer. You marvel at the skill required. The tension of the threads must be even. The shuttle must not snag. The beat of the comb must be firm. Yet Hennet Meyer's hands move as if she is not thinking about it at all. It is pure muscle memory, a meditation in motion. Hennet Meyer works for a while in silence. Then she begins to speak softly. Her voice is calm without effort. She tells you about the linen. It came from the finest flax fields, cultivated by temple workers. It was harvested at the perfect time. It was steeped in clean river water. It was beaten with wooden mallets until the fibers separated. It was combed until it was like silk. She tells you about the god statue. It has a specific shape. The cloth must hang perfectly. It must accentuate the divine form. It must be worthy. Your eyes follow her hands. The rhythm is hypnotic. The click-clack of the loom becomes a gentle sound like rain. The soft light from the windows dances on the white linen. You feel deeply relaxed. There is something profoundly peaceful about watching skilled work done with such devotion. It is a form of prayer in itself. a prayer made manifest in cloth. After some time, Henetmaya ties off her thread. She has finished the last row. She runs her hands over the surface of the finished cloth. It is smooth, perfect. She is satisfied. She looks at you. A small smile touches her lips. She has done her work. You have witnessed it. You bow your head to her. It is a bow of deep respect for her skill and her service. She has woven a garment fit for a god. You leave the weaving room carrying its quiet peace with you. Your mind is calm, your body is relaxed. The rhythmic click-clack follows you for a while, a soft echo in your thoughts. You have learned a new appreciation for the hidden hands that serve the temple. The weavers, the carpenters, the scribes, all of you are threads in the great tapestry of devotion. Your own prayers, your own offerings are part of that same sacred cloth. As the sun begins its descent, painting the western sky in shades of amber and crimson, the temple shifts its focus. The quiet day work is giving way to the preparation for the sacred evening rites. Your next task is one of the most important of the day. You must prepare the evening sacrifice to the god. This offering is given as the sun sets, to sustain the deity through the dangerous hours of night. You walk to a different kitchen, one reserved for the most sacred offerings. This room is larger than the simple priest's dining hall. It is built of cool stone. It smells of bread ovens, spices, and fat from cooking meat. But the atmosphere is still one of reverence. The food prepared here is not for mortals, it is for the gods. A priest named Amenhotep is already at work. He is a man of medium build, his head shaved smooth. His hands are stained with flour and herbs. He is an expert in the precise recipes of temple offerings. He looks up as you enter. He smiles slightly. He greets you with a nod. He has been waiting for you. He points to a large clay pot. It sits on a low burner. Inside, a rich stew simmers. You can see pieces of meat and vegetables floating in a thick golden broth. The scent is deep and savory. Amenhotep explains the ingredients. It is a stew of beef, cut into small, tender pieces. It is flavored with onions, leeks, and a complex mix of spices. There is cumin, a hint of coriander. The broth is thickened with ground barley. It is a hearty, nourishing meal. A meal fit for a god who has worked all day to keep the world in order. Your role is to help with the final preparations. First, Amenhotep asks you to shape the evening bread. He has a batch of dough that has been rising all day. It is light, airy. He places a large lump in your hands. It is warm and slightly sticky. You follow his instructions. You knead it gently. You form it into round loaves. Your hands know this motion well. It is like making bread for your family, but here it has a higher purpose. You place the shaped loaves into a clay oven. It is hot. The bread will bake quickly. As it cooks, Amenhotep works on the stew. He adds a pinch of salt, a drizzle of honey for sweetness. He stirs the pot slowly. The rich aroma fills the air, making your mouth water. It smells like a feast. While the food cooks, you prepare the final offerings. You select 2 cooked ducks. Their skin is golden brown and crispy. You place them on a large, clean tray. You arrange them with their heads turned back in a posture of peace. Next, you add a selection of fruits. Fresh figs, their skin purple and ripe. Pomegranates, their red seeds like jewels. Dates, plump and sweet. You also have a small jar of the finest olive oil. It is a gift from traders. It gleams in the dim light of the kitchen. The bread is ready. You open the oven. A wave of heat washes over you. The loaves are perfect, golden and round. You take them out, placing them on another tray. The simple, earthy smell of fresh bread fills the kitchen. It is one of the most comforting scents in the world. Amenhotep pours the stew into a large, shallow bowl. It is too heavy to carry easily. He will have an assistant help him later. Now comes the delicate part. The arrangement. You and Amenhotep work together, placing the food on the final offering trays with the utmost care. Each item has its place. A loaf here, a piece of duck there. The fruits are arranged in a pleasing, symmetric pattern. The stew is in the center. It is an act of reverence. You're not just preparing food. You're creating a visual hymn of gratitude and sustenance. You are building a table fit for a god. The preparations are complete. The trays are ready. You stand back. You look at your work. The evening sacrifice is assembled. It is a beautiful display. It smells incredible. It represents the bounty of the land, the skill of the cook, the devotion of the priest. You feel a deep satisfaction. The god will be well fed tonight. The ritual will be perfect. You have done your part in a very practical but deeply spiritual task. Now, it is time to carry these offerings to the sanctuary, to present them as the sun sinks below the horizon. With the sun a low, fiery disk on the horizon, You lift the prepared trays. Amenhotep and his assistant take the heaviest items. You carry the trays of bread, fruits, and ducks. The walk from the sacred kitchen to the sanctuary is short, but the atmosphere is charged with anticipation. The entire temple complex seems to be holding its breath. The day work is over. The sacred work is about to begin in earnest. You enter the inner courtyard. The light here is golden, casting long shadows. The painted walls of the temple buildings seem to glow. You pass other priests. They are moving with the same quiet purpose. They carry incense burners. Others carry vessels of water. Everyone knows their role. The choreography of the sunset rite is ancient and precise. You approach the sanctuary doors. They are wide open now. Inside, the sanctuary has been lit by the oil lamps. The golden shrine waits. The offering table is clear, ready for the evening food. The smell of the stew and the bread mingles with the lingering scent of the myrrh from the morning incense. The air is thick with the presence of the divine. You set your trays down on the offering table. Your hands are careful. You arrange the items perfectly. You place the ducks first. Their golden brown skin is a striking image against the simple wood. You arrange the bread loaves. You place the fruits in their designated spots. The assistant pours the stew into a special, shallow bowl made of polished stone. It is warm. The steam rises gently. The smell is rich and inviting. Once everything is arranged, you step back. You join the circle of priests that forms around the offering table. This is a key moment. The evening hymn will now begin. The chief priest raises his arms. His voice is strong and clear. He begins the first verse. It is a hymn to Ra, the sun god, but it is also a hymn to the god of this temple, the deity whose house you serve. The words are ancient. They speak of the sun's journey, how Ra sails across the sky in his solar bark, how he fights the serpent of chaos Apophis, how he descends to the underworld at night, only to be reborn at dawn. You join your voice with the others. The sound fills the sanctuary, bouncing off the stone walls. It is a powerful sound, but it is also a peaceful sound. It is a sound of certainty, of faith, of the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth. The chief priest then walks slowly around the offering table. He carries a brazier of incense. As he walks, he wafts the smoke over the food. The sweet smell of frankincense and myrrh intensifies, blending with the savory scent of the stew. The smoke acts like a blessing. It carries the essence of the food to the nostrils of the god. The rhythm of the chief priest's steps, the swirling smoke and the drone of the hymn create a deeply meditative atmosphere. After the incense, the chief priest begins a second hymn. This one is shorter. It is a personal prayer to the specific god of the temple. You listen to the words. They are words of gratitude, of praise, of a request for continued protection. Your voice joins the chorus for the final refrain. The sound builds to a gentle crescendo before fading to a quiet close. In the silence that follows, the chief priest lifts a small cup of beer. He pours a little onto the ground at the feet of the offering table. It is an offering to the ancestors, to the spirits of the earth, to acknowledge that all blessings come from a source beyond the god. He then offers a small prayer over the water vessels. He calls upon the goddess Nut, the sky, who gives the life-giving rains. The sunset rites are complete. The hymns have been sung. The food has been blessed. The god has been properly fed. The priests bow their heads. There is a moment of profound quiet. The sanctuary seems to hold the echoes of the hymns. You feel the deep peace that comes from participating in a ritual that connects you to the divine, to nature, and to your community. The world is in order for another night. Your duty for the sunset is finished. Now, the quiet vigil of the night begins. As the last note of the hymn fades into the stillness of the sanctuary, the day cedes place to the night. The chief priest dismisses the gathered priests with a quiet blessing. Most return to their quarters for a few hours of rest. Their duties for the day are done, but your work is not over. It is now your turn to stand the sacred night watch. The responsibility of guarding the god through the dark hours is one of the highest honors. You will sit in vigil outside the sanctuary doors. You will keep watch. You will pray. You will ensure no harm comes to the divine resting place. You will be the sole human witness to the god's nocturnal journey. You settle onto your designated mat, just outside the sanctuary threshold. The mat is simple, woven from reed. It is a familiar comfort. You will spend many hours here. The stone of the floor is cool against your back as you lean against the wall. The air has grown noticeably cooler as the sun's warmth fades. The temple complex at night is a place of profound silence. The sounds of the day have vanished. The hammer of the carpenter is quiet. The chatter of the weavers is still. The only sounds are the night creatures. An owl calls softly, somewhere in a distant tree. Crickets begin their steady chirping. The gentle lap of the Nile against its banks can be heard, a constant, ancient sound. To pass the hours, you turn to prayer and contemplation. You begin with a simple, memorized hymn to Nut, the goddess of the night sky. Your voice is low, barely above a whisper. It is a sound meant for no one but the stars and the god within. Blessed Nut, mother of stars, you who stretch over the earth and hold the sun in your womb, grant peaceful rest to our God. Grant peaceful rest to your son, Ra. Guard us through the darkness. Keep all evil spirits far from this sacred place. You repeat this prayer several times. It is a meditation. Each recitation slows your breathing. Each word settles in your mind like a stone in a still pond. The rhythm becomes a lullaby for your own mind. The feeling of duty transforms from an active task into a passive state of being. You are simply present, a guardian, a watcher. Between prayers, you allow your mind to wander in a controlled, gentle way. You recall the events of the day, the smooth feel of the cloth wiping the sanctuary floor, the beautiful column of incense smoke. As you settle into the deep quiet of the night watch, your thoughts naturally turn towards stories, tales passed down through generations of priests, ancient stories that speak of dreams and divine encounters within these very walls. In the profound silence, these stories feel less like folklore and more like quiet truths waiting in the shadows. You remember the tale of a priest named Neferhotep, told to you when you first took vows. He stood a similar vigil in this very spot, centuries ago. As the night deepened, he drifted into a light, trance-like state. It was then, Neferhotep later said, that the god appeared to him, not in a blazing vision, but as a gentle presence. The air in the sanctuary grew warm. The shadows seemed to thicken, forming shapes that were almost but not quite human. The god, or perhaps a manifestation of the god's power, spoke without words. It was a sense of profound peace, a feeling of being held and protected. Neferhotep understood his life's work with new clarity that night. His service was not just a duty, but a conversation. Another story comes to mind. This one speaks of a time long ago when a drought threatened the land. The priests prayed for rain, but the sky remained mercilessly blue. On the third night of your vigil, an old priest named Jutmos dreamed that he walked into the sanctuary. There he saw not the usual golden shrine, but a vast, fertile field stretching to the horizon. In the dream, he felt the blessed coolness of river water soaking into the soil. He woke with the distinct scent of wet earth in his nostrils. He shared the dream with the high priest. The next day, the first clouds appeared. The drought ended. The dream had been a map to salvation. You recall these tales not as fanciful stories, but as examples of the deep communion possible in the stillness of the temple night. You begin to understand that your vigil is not just about guarding a physical space. It is about guarding a space for the divine, a space for mysteries that unfold in the quiet hours when the sun's fire is banked and the world's chatter fades. As you think on these stories, your own breathing slows further. The sounds of the night become more pronounced. An owl's wings make a soft whoosh as it passes overhead. Crickets chirp their rhythmic song, a constant, comforting background. You hear the very walls of the temple settling with the cool of the night, a soft creak, a tiny crack as stone adjusts. These sounds do not disturb you. They are the sounds of a place that has stood for generations, enduring. They are a reminder of your place in a long, unbroken line of guardians. You close your eyes, not to sleep, for that is not your duty, but to turn your attention inward. You focus on your heartbeat. Thud, pause, thud. It is strong, it is calm, it is the rhythm of life. You feel the cool stone of the wall against your back. You feel the soft mat beneath you. You feel the simple comfort of your linen robes. You are present in this moment. You are a solitary watchman in the house of the divine. A new thought drifts into your peaceful mind. It is a question of profound simplicity. What does it mean to serve? It is not about grand gestures or public praise. It is about this quiet vigilance, this careful preparation of offerings, this silent offering of your own presence. You are a small part of a vast machinery of devotion. Your daily tasks are the cogs that keep it running. Your hymns are the oil that smooths its motion. Your reverent heart is the spark that gives it meaning. To serve is to find peace in routine. To serve is to find the divine in the simple act of making bread for a god. To serve is to stand watch in the dark, not out of fear, but out of love. These reflections fill the long hours. The night is deep now. Stars wheel overhead in their ancient patterns. The air is cool and still. You are alone in the temple, but you are not lonely. The sense of the divine presence is a quiet companionship. You whisper a final prayer into the darkness. It is a prayer of gratitude. Gratitude for your life, gratitude for your place here, gratitude for the stories that guide you, gratitude for the chance to share the night with the sleeping God. Your voice is soft, lost in the vastness of the sanctified space, but it is heard. It is always heard. Your night watch is complete. A profound, quiet peace settles over you. You have guarded the God's rest. Now, the first stirrings of dawn will come, and the cycle will begin anew. As the pale light of dawn begins to touch the eastern horizon, your long vigil ends. The night has passed without incident. The God has slumbered safely. You feel deeply rested despite your wakefulness. The dawn brings a renewed energy to the temple. Today is a special day. The Feast of the Valley, or Opet, is at hand. The entire complex is preparing for one of the most significant events of the year. The atmosphere is electric, but with a calm, focused energy. The preparations have been underway for days, but now with the feast day arrived, the work becomes intense. You are assigned a specific task. You will assist the chief priest in preparing the divine bark for its sacred journey. The mansion of the millions of years, the bark of Amun, stands waiting in a special dock in the temple's northern courtyard. It is a magnificent vessel, its hull gleaming with gold and inlaid semi-precious stones. Its sails are folded, waiting for the blessing that will fill them with divine wind. The chief priest Uzahat approaches the bark. His movements are slow and deliberate. He is accompanied by a procession of senior priests. They carry sacred oils, bundles of incense, and vessels of pure water. You follow at the rear of this group. Your heart beats with anticipation mixed with deep reverence. The ceremony begins with a ritual washing of the bark. Uzahat takes a vessel of pure water. He pours it slowly over the gold-plated prow. The water runs in a clear stream down the sides of the vessel, washing away any earthly dust. He then takes a brush soaked in sacred oil. He paints a complex hieroglyphic symbol on the bow of the bark. It is the Ankh, the symbol of life. The oil gleams in the early morning light. Uzahat then addresses the bark directly. His voice is clear and strong. Mansion of the millions of years, vessel of the God, you are blessed. May your journey be swift. May your path be safe. May the power of Amun flow through you, guiding you to the Valley of the Kings, where the great pharaohs rest. May your presence bring strength to their spirits. As he speaks, the other priests begin the rhythmic beating of sacred drums. The sound is deep and resonant. It echoes off the temple walls. The vibration travels through the ground, through your feet, and into your chest. It is a powerful sound, the sound of a divine heartbeat. It builds the anticipation of the procession that will soon follow. Once the blessing is complete, the priests begin to move the bark. It is a massive undertaking. Dozens of strong temple workers, under the guidance of the priests, take up long poles. They will carry the bark on their shoulders. It is a test of their strength and their devotion. The bark is incredibly heavy, built of dense cedar wood and ornamented with gold. The workers strain against the weight, their faces set with concentration. The priests move alongside them, chanting hymns to steady their pace. The procession is slow but impressive. You walk near the front, close to the chief priest. You can see the entire procession unfold behind you. Priests carrying banners and standards, musicians with harps and flutes, dancers, their movements slow and graceful, telling the story of Amun's power through their steps. And behind the bark, a great crowd of temple workers and citizens, all eager to witness the divine journey. You feel a swell of pride. You are part of this sacred river of people and purpose. The procession winds through the streets of Thebes. The normally bustling city is different today. People line the streets. They kneel or stand with their hands raised in respect as the bark passes. They cast flowers on the path before it. The air is filled with the sweet smell of lotus blossoms and the smoke of incense offerings from the people. It is a day of communal joy, a day when the barrier between the divine and the human world seems to thin. Everyone understands in this moment that they are part of something larger than themselves, a living piece of history, a sacred bond between God, Pharaoh, and people. As you walk, you have time to think on the meaning of the day. The Feast of the Valley is not just a parade. It is a vital ritual of renewal. The bark travels to visit the tombs of the pharaohs in the Valley of the Kings. It brings the gods' presence to the resting places of the dead rulers. It is believed to infuse their spirits with new life and power. It also allows the living pharaoh, who remains in his palace, to participate in the ritual through the priests. The procession is a physical representation of the eternal bond between the divine, the royal, and the people. As the bark moves slowly towards its destination, You feel deeply honored to be a small but necessary part of this ancient, sacred chain. Your daily quiet prayers have led to this moment of public, powerful devotion. Several days have passed since the grandeur of the Feast of the Valley. The temple is returning to its normal, peaceful rhythm. The sounds of the festival have faded. The banners are stored away, but the memory of the powerful presence of the divine bark lingers in the air. Now, a different kind of ritual, equally important, is scheduled. It is the ritual of purification, the monthly cleansing of the god's statue and the innermost sanctum. This rite demands the highest level of ritual purity from all involved. You have been preparing yourself since dawn. You have washed more thoroughly than usual. You have avoided certain foods. You have kept your thoughts as calm and focused as possible. You feel cleansed, inside and out. You make your way to the inner sanctum. The atmosphere here is different from the usual morning routine. There is a sense of intensified solemnity. The chief priest, Userhat, is already present. Several other senior priests stand nearby. They are all dressed in the finest, purest white linen. Their heads are shaved smooth. They move with the careful grace of those who have been entrusted with the most sacred duties. The focal point of the ritual is the inner shrine. It is a smaller, even more intimate space within the sanctuary. This is where the god's statue resides when not on public display. The shrine itself is a sealed chamber. Its door is covered with a clay seal unbroken until this day. This is the only time the statue is seen by human eyes during the month. Userhat approaches the sealed door. He breaks the clay seal with a simple gesture. The sound of the breaking clay is sharp in the quiet space. It is the sound of the seal of privacy being lifted. The door is then opened slowly. It swings inward with a soft, ancient creak. You peer into the chamber. It is dim, lit only by oil lamps. In the center, on a small altar, rests the statue of the god. It is a magnificent piece of craftsmanship, made of gold, ebony, and inlaid with carnelian and turquoise. Its eyes are painted with real gold. Its hands hold the sacred symbols of its power. It is not merely a statue. To the priests, it is the living body of the god, temporarily resident on earth. The purification rite begins with the careful removal of the old garments from the statue. Senior priests with reverent hands lift away the simple linen cloths that have clothed the god for the past month. These cloths are considered sacred now. They will be stored away. They will not be worn again by mortal men. Next comes the washing. Two priests carry in a large vessel of pure, clean water. It has been drawn from a special well, blessed for this purpose. Userhat takes a small, soft cloth. He dips it into the water. He begins to gently wash the statue's face. His movements are incredibly careful. He traces the painted lines, the sacred symbols. He cleans the gold surfaces until they gleam. He washes the hands, the feet, the entire body. He is performing a ritual bath for the god. The symbolism is profound. Just as the priests purify themselves, they purify the divine presence. The statue is being prepared for a fresh period of service. As the chief priest works, the other priests offer hymns. The songs are ancient, describing the act of creation and renewal. They speak of Ptah shaping the world on his potter's wheel, of Nut giving birth to the sun each dawn. The music is hauntingly beautiful, a perfect soundtrack for the slow ritual washing. After the water washing, another sacred oil is applied. It is a special mixture prepared over many days by the temple's incense makers. It contains frankincense, myrrh, and other precious resins. It is a symbol of anointing, of setting the god apart for sacred service. A small amount is rubbed carefully onto the statue's forehead, its hands, and its feet. Finally, the priests dress the statue in new garments. These are the finest textiles, woven especially for this day. The fabrics are pristine white, soft as a whisper. The garments are simple, but their quality is evident. They are a symbol of purity and rebirth. The inner shrine is then cleaned, just as you clean the sanctuary every day. The senior priests clean this holiest space with meticulous care. Dust is removed, the floor is wiped, the walls are tended to. Everything must be perfect for the god's return. When the work is finished, the chief priest closes the shrine's door. A new seal of clay is pressed onto it. The ritual is complete. You stand in profound silence for a moment. You feel a deep sense of renewal. The god has been cleansed and prepared. The temple has been cleansed and prepared. You too have been cleansed and prepared. The monthly purification rite is a potent reminder of the power of ritual, of the necessity of renewal, and of the endless cycle of service and devotion that defines a priest's life. The sanctum is sealed once more, holding the freshly purified presence within. Another dawn finds you awake before the sun. Your body has known this rhythm for so long now that sleep falls away from you as the first grey light touches the horizon. You rise from your mat with a sense of profound peace settling over you. It is a peace that comes from a life lived in harmony with ancient cycles. You have spent another night in vigil, another day in service, and now a new day begins. You perform your purification ritual with the same care you have shown for countless mornings. The cool water from the purification pools washes over you. It is a familiar sensation, a gentle shock that both wakes and soothes. You dress in your simple white robe. The fabric is comfortable, worn soft by many washings. It is a garment of humility and service. It is also a garment you wear with quiet pride. As you walk through the temple courtyard, the morning sounds greet you. Birds chirping in the trees, the distant sound of the river, the soft footfalls of other priests beginning their day. But the temple itself holds a deep, familiar silence in its heart. You walk through it as you have walked through it every day for years. The path is worn smooth by your footsteps. Each step is a reminder of your place in this ancient institution. Your first duty, as always, is to tend the sanctuary. The doors stand slightly ajar. The oil lamps are already lit, casting their familiar warm glow on the painted walls. You step inside. The smell of frankincense from the previous day's prayers still clings faintly to the air. It is a comforting scent, a smell of prayer, of devotion, of routine that brings you immense comfort. You begin your work. You sweep the floor. You wipe the walls. You light the lamps. You prepare the offerings. You perform these tasks not as a chore, but as a meditation. Each motion is familiar. Each action is purposeful. As your hands move, your mind is free to wander in a gentle, unstructured way. You think about the cycle, the endless, beautiful cycle of your life. Dawn brings washing. Morning brings preparation and the first rites. Midday brings rest and reflection. Afternoon brings work. Sunset brings the grand rituals. Night brings vigilance and prayer. And then inevitably dawn comes again. The cycle renews. It is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And in this sameness, you have found an immeasurable peace. There are no surprises. There are no shocks. There is only the deep comfort of the known path. You think about the people who have walked this same path before you. The priest who cleaned this very floor decades ago, the one who offered this same bread to the god, the one who stood that long night watch. You are not alone. You are part of a chain stretching back into the mists of time, a chain of devoted hands, devoted hearts. You are a guardian of a tradition older than the pyramids. It is a tremendous privilege. It is also a profound responsibility, and you carry it with a light heart. As the sun climbs higher, the temple stirs into its full daily activity. The sounds of work begin, the quiet murmur of the scribes, the steady click-clack of the looms, the low rhythmic hammering of the carpenters. It is the sound of a living, breathing place, a place of order and devotion, a place where the divine is tended and honored every single day without fail. You finish your morning duties. You stand back from the sanctuary. Everything is in its place. The floor is clean. The walls are tended. The offerings await. The shrine gleams in the lamplight. Your work here is done for this hour, but you know it will be done again tomorrow, and the day after that, and for as long as the gods require your service. You walk out into the inner courtyard. The morning sun is warm on your skin. You take a deep breath. The air smells of dust, flowers, and the faint, eternal scent of the Nile. You feel a deep, quiet contentment wash over you. This is your life. It is a life of routine, of service, of devotion, and in its quiet simplicity you have found a deep, abiding happiness, a happiness that is not based on excitement or change, but on the profound satisfaction of a duty fulfilled, of a sacred place kept in perfect order, of a life lived in harmony with the divine. You look towards the horizon, towards the river, towards the great, eternal cycle of the sun, and you smile. Because you know, tomorrow you will wake before dawn, you will wash, you will tend the sanctuary, you will offer your prayers, and you will find, once again, the deep peace that comes from living a life devoted to something greater than yourself. The cycle is eternal, and you are eternally grateful to be a part of it. As our journey through the daily life of an ancient Egyptian priest comes to a close, remember that their world was built on cycles. Cycles of the sun, the river, the seasons, and the rites that connected the human world to the divine. In their quiet routines of washing, offering bread, chanting hymns, and keeping the night watch, we find a profound peace. A peace born not from excitement, but from the deep satisfaction of a sacred duty faithfully fulfilled. Stepping away from ancient Thebes, you can carry with you the image of those serene courtyards, the scent of incense, and the quiet hum of devotion. Let the rhythm of their ancient days settle into your own. Rest now knowing that sometimes the most profound peace is found in the gentle repetition of a life well lived in service to something greater. Sleep deeply.